Alright, guys, it's the weekend, April 26th, 2019. Now, I was like, should I even do a weekend movie picks for this week? Because of Avengers Endgame, everyone's gonna be watching that. But then I was like, well, what if you didn't buy a ticket? Maybe you didn't get the CC one, and maybe you didn't get the IMAX seats, you didn't get the good times, and maybe you're just busy, or maybe you don't want to go with the crowd, you want to do some counterculture stuff. There are a couple of other options if you really want to watch a movie but you don't want to watch Avengers. So we're gonna talk about that right now. Okay, first up, we got Body at Brighton Rock. Okay, so this follows the story of a young girl who is a new park ranger at a park. She's pretty cocky. She's like, I'm new here, but I can do everything you guys do. I want some hardcore assignments. So she's out on a walk and, putting up some posters, some notices, and then she comes across a dead body. And then she's like, oh crap. She calls it in and they're like, where are you? She's like, I don't know. Go through all the logic of cell phone doesn't work, radio's not gonna work soon. The rescue team doesn't know where she is, and she's going to have to spend the night with a dead body, which is the recipe for disaster, guys. Never let that happen to you because you're gonna run into all sorts of problems, including mystery dude right here who's like, hey, that's a cool dead body you got there. What happened? And obviously he's the bad guy because the trailer shows him just fighting with the female protagonist here. The problem with this trailer is it actually shows a bit too much. Like the dead body that she finds, we actually see it come back to life. I don't know if it's actually the same body or if it's a different body. It's pretty dark, but it's a totally like a Saw type of moment where you think the dead body in the middle of the floor is dead, but it's actually not dead. Spoilers, guys, but come on, man, the movie's so old. I think the concept seems okay. There's also nature stuff, like there's a bear, and that's pretty cool. Bears are always dangerous and fun to watch in movies. The problem with this story is that I don't know why she has to be there. Like she doesn't have to guard the body. She could like go home. Like she could try to make her way down the mountain. The trailer tries to solve this problem by telling you like, oh, you have to you protect the crime scene. You have to preserve the crime scene. Well, she doesn't. Like when it comes down to it, she wants to live. Like she needs to get the hell out of there. So the only way they could have solved this problem is if she was like, oh, I have to stay here or else I might die if I try to make my way down because it's getting dark and it's very dangerous and I don't know where I am. I actually think that's what it is actually, but the trailer just doesn't show that. The trailer stresses the fact that she needs to guard over the dead body, which is ridiculous. Like she's not like a police officer, she's not like a detective, and the body is not gonna go anywhere. Like it's not her job to protect a crime scene, right? So the motivation for this character is not that great, and I think that's gonna be a problem. And plus there's not a lot going on. Like the guy, there's only one other character in here that's like a potential murder suspect person. This will probably be good for 40 minutes and then it'll just peter out into running around in the dark and people chasing her and her breathing very heavily with a flashlight that will run out of batteries, and then have to wander around the dark with danger lurking all around her. Not looking great, this one. The White Crow. Ralph Fiennes stepping into the directorial chair again. It's a real life story of a defecting ballet dancer, Rudolph Nureyev, Nureyev, and starring a professional ballet dancer in Oleg Ivenko. Is he famous? I think he is. I'm not, super well versed in the ballet world, but I have heard of his name. Ralph Fiennes, definitely stepping into the director's chair more often these days. I mean, the story concept looks pretty good. Like, it's about this dude who's supposedly the best ballet dancer of his generation and him defecting to the West in 1961 at the height of the Cold War in France, Paris. Concept is strong, although I am worried that it has been done before. One of my concerns is that I don't see ballet being used all that much to, as a metaphor for the Cold War for freedom. There's a line in there where it's like, oh, ballet is like about no limits and you have to challenge yourself and you have to live your life and like all that stuff, right? Like, using ballet like that is pretty generic and it's not a good use or a very inspired metaphor. One of the reasons why Black Swan was so good, as at a concept level, was because it took Swan Lake, the ballet, and changed it and made it a metaphor for Natalie Portman's character, right? Like, that's how you do a metaphor with a, like, basically like a sport. And I just don't see that here. I don't see how they use ballet as a metaphor for the Cold War or for an individual's pursuit of freedom. So I think it's just going to be more about the Cold War times, the Cold War conflict. And ballet is just a backdrop instead of a major element of the story, which I think is actually not very good because the story is really about this dude, about Rudolph Nureyev. I'm not gonna say his name, guys. This is ridiculous. So I think being a real life story, more focus needs to be put on this dude. And I just don't see that. I don't see a romantic relationship in this story either. I don't know what the main emotional arc is for this character. So this one's a bit all over the place. Aesthetically, though, it looks pretty good. I like the time period and the costumes and then the setting. So I think that's strong. I just don't think as a concept is as good as it could be. JT Leroy. So Kristen Stewart is back, guys, starring in a role about the real life story of Savannah Knop. This person who pretended to be the author JT Leroy of a made up literary persona of her sister-in-law who wrote a book, I think, called Sarah. What's funny is that when I was in film school, like in Vancouver Film School, I had a concept similar to this where like this author paid an actor to be him and go on tour. So it's actually pretty cool to see like a movie like this, but this is like a real life story that's being adapted into a movie. Kristen Stewart plays the Savannah Knopp, who plays the actor, as it were, and Laura Dern is the author who goes on tour with Kristen Stewart because she actually wrote the book, right? And the story is all about how, standard affair with basically pretending to be someone you are not. She loses herself in the role, and her relationships all go to hell, and she evaluates why she's doing this, etc., etc. And then also, as she goes on tour, she discovers that, this book really means a lot to a lot of people, and she is conflicted as to whether or not to let people know that everything is a fraud. And then Laura Dern, who plays the author, will tell her she needs to keep going, to keep pretending to be this persona, because if she doesn't, then she'll disappoint a lot of fans. The midpoint turn seems to be like, they're gonna get a movie deal going. They want to make this book into a film, and then she needs to keep this ruse going in order to secure the film deal of their lifetimes. The concept is strong. This has a stakes problem in that I don't know enough about Savannah Knopp's character to really care about why she's doing this. Like, from the trailer, it seems like she just moved to New York and she wants to start her own life. And is this the best way to do it? Like, pretending to be someone you are not? Like, pretending to be someone you are not doesn't fit with Savannah's character from the trailer. Like, she's not searching for herself. She's not like, I'm really confused as to who I am, or I don't like who I am and I want a new fresh start, but I don't know how. Her character is very thin from the trailer, so it doesn't seem to be about her character at all, and more about this whole like concept of pretending to be someone else. So, but in order for that to work, I need to know more about her character. Who is she really? Like, why does she want to be someone else? Like, who is she trying to run away from? And yeah, I need to know that because I need to know eventually when she lets everyone knows that it's a lie, that the person she needs to go back to, the person that she needs to come to peace with, like that character is not in this trailer at all. So I don't know what the dramatic arc is going to be, right? Like I don't know why I care. If it's just a concept of pretending to be an author or pretending to be a persona, it's not that strong. And I don't really see a lot of like the underworld, the underbelly of the literary world either. Overall, I think this movie is lacking in its concept, it's lacking in its character, and I'm sure the plot is going to be dramatic because it's based on a real thing, real situation, and I'm sure with a little bit of adaptation, it will make it very dramatic. So I think the plot will be fine. I'm just worried about the characters and the concept as an overall package. All right, guys. So April 26, 2019. If you are not watching Avengers Endgame and you want to watch a movie, which one of these are you going to pick? My pick is The White Crow. I think Ralph Fiennes proved that he knows what he's doing as a director. I am interested in this dude's story, Rudolph Nureyev's story. I would have liked to see more ballet stuff used as a metaphor, but I think, just the backdrop, Cold War, I'm all about it. So this is my pick, guys. Let me know what you think. If you're gonna watch anything other than Endgame, let me know. If you're gonna stay at home and wait for the crowd to, thin out a little bit before stepping into the Endgame chair, let me know as well. And I will see you next week.